Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Bookmarked by Aaliyah, or welcome if you're new here. It is time for my November wrap up. So last in October, or was it the beginning of the month? I can't remember, but I did the TBR jar picks my November reads, and for the first time, I actually stuck to what I chose out of the TBR jar, and I'm really proud of myself. So we are going to go over those books. Some of this is going to be a little redundant if you've been following me for a minute and you've been watching my latest like vlogs and stuff. So I've talked about a few of these books already, but I think like the last three I really didn't. So I'll try to go more in depth on those and just do like a quick little review. If you want like a full review with like my feelings and all that with the other books, just go check out my other videos. This was not part of my TBR jar because when I did the TBR jar video, I was already in the middle of this book. So we have Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. And this was highly recommended from two of my friends, one of my friends and one of my book friends. And so they love this book. So I had to dive in and see. This follows the Padavano family. There's 4 sisters, 2 parents. So 6-person household. And then there's William, who's had like a troubled life. He ends up being adopted. And he's pretty much like a loner. He's been by himself. He's never really had that sense of family until he meets Julia, the oldest daughter in the Padavano family. And so it is basically the journey of him kind of finding himself, him finding family through his girlfriend, Julia. What makes this story special to me is the relationships between the Padavano sisters. There's 4 sisters. Each one has a whole different personality. Julia is like, you know, the oldest sister, so she does the older sister things. And so she's kind of controlling. They all like think, what would Julia say? Then there's Sylvie, she's like the librarian bookworm. Then there's Cecilia, and she is like the free spirit. She kind of does what she wants to do. She doesn't care about like opinions of others. She just does her and calls it a day. And then there's Emmeline, which is the baby sister, and she's just like the glue to the family. She always wants to, you know, please everybody, make sure everybody's getting along, and make sure, you know, there's, you know, just the flow of the family. The parents are a little quirky, but I loved that this was basically a homage to Little Women. If you've never read Little Women before, it's about 4 sisters that kind of have the same qualities as these sisters. So where it wasn't the actual story of Little Women, a lot of the things about it was very similar. So that was pretty good to see. I will say I did like this book. I will say I don't love the book, but I really liked it, and I'll never forget the characters. So that says something to me if I'm never gonna forget the characters. So the only reason why this was not a 5-star read for me, it was because like it took me until about 50% of this book to really get into it. Not that it was slow. I liked the pacing of the book, but I did not like the writing of the book. It seemed very choppy to me. Like the sentences were very short. There was no flow to me. But by the time I got to like the 50% mark and I was truly invested in the story, I kind of ignored that it was kind of choppy like that. Or I think the writing just got better as the book went along. It was just really just like, I don't know. I just don't like writing like that. So that's the only reason it wasn't a 5-star. Had this had more of a flow to it, it for sure would have been a 5-star for me. But it's a very good story, a very good cozy fall winter read for me. I couldn't see me reading this in the summertime for whatever reason, but it just seems like a very good fall read. Then I have Savage Lover, Sophie Lark, the 3rd book in the Brutal Birthright series. This follows Nero and Camille. Camille is like a tomboy, and she's a car mechanic. And she's been like the laughing stock of the, you know, city or whatever, because she's like this tomboy. She's really pretty and everything, but she's just like odd. And Nero obviously is part of this mafia family. And so, excuse my dog back there. She's in the cage and she's going to town right now. I don't know what she's doing, but excuse her. This is like an unlikely pair for them to get together, but they do. And they bond. It's a certain situation that causes them to bond. And it was right up the same alley as Brutal Prince and Savage Lover. It's the same type of flow, except this one was a little bit different because there was less mafia, you know, influence in this book and more like they're both really into cars. So it's like a lot of car chases, car races. It was very action packed. I think this is more action packed than the other two. The romance was there, the spice was there, the storyline was there. It seemed more action packed as opposed to like mafia packed, if that makes sense. But definitely was a good read, and I'm definitely going to continue on with this series. And as always, I'm going to put my, ratings and everything because it's been a minute. So I don't remember everything. So this is another good one. First, let me say, this month has been a good month. I think nothing got under a 4-star this month. I don't think. If anything, 3.5, but this was a very, very good reading month. Okay, so next I have Caught Up. It's time for a third book in the Windy City series. This follows Kai and Miller. Miller is the daughter of the baseball team's coach, and Kai is the pitcher on the team, and he's a single dad. So Miller is trying to find herself. She's this renowned pastry baker or whatever, but she's under a lot of stress and she needs to take some R&R. So she takes the summer off to hang with her dad, which she has kind of not a strained relationship with, but she doesn't get attached. She likes to be on the go, so she doesn't stay attached, because like when things are attached and then they fall apart, she won't get hurt this way, put it that way. So she doesn't stay in one place long. She's always going all over the country in different restaurants, for like 3 months at a time or whatever, to make that restaurant a Michelin star restaurant. So she decides, I'm stressed. This is too much. I'm taking the summer off. I'm going to hang with my dad and the team. Kai does not trust anybody with his son, and he fires every nanny that comes along. So the coach basically has an idea and was like, look, you can't keep firing all your nannies. We need you to pitch. We need your head in the game. My daughter's coming. She's going to be your nanny for the summer. He's not a fan of it. He was like, absolutely not. Then he sees her and was like, what? This is going to be my nanny? So you already know what goes down. They form a relationship, and it's very complicated because she's there to take care of the son, but then they start feeling each other, and then everything else that happens with that. So definitely a good one. Cannot wait to read, play along. And what I like about this series, each book that I've read, it is set up so perfectly for the next book, because the next book is Isaiah and Kennedy. Isaiah and Kennedy is in this book so much. You see Isaiah trying to holler at Kennedy. She's like, if you don't leave me alone, I'm your, I think she's like the team, like sports, whatever, that does like the massages and stuff after the games. That's what Kennedy does. I can't think of what that position is called right now. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart, but that girl. So she's that. And he's one of the players on the team too. And Isaiah is Kai's brother. So that's what the next story is about. But they set it up perfectly. The main characters in Mile High, the main characters in The Right Move, they all make an appearance. They're all connected because Kai lives in the same building as the characters in the previous one. Like, it is just all intertangled. And I'm loving it. I cannot wait to get the next book. Then I have Love Radio. So y'all know I was hesitant to read this because it's YA, and everybody was saying like, you'll love it, it's super cute. Oh my God. If you want something to like really put you in your feels, really put you back in high school when you were dating, it is so cute, so cute. So he is a DJ for a Detroit radio station. And remember, I was saying, I don't know how this little boy in high school got this job. Well, his uncle is like the main DJ, and he got him this job. So that makes sense. He hooked him up. So he is called DJ Love Jones, and he gives relationship advice. Yes, he's young. He's in high school, but he gives relationship advice for like an hour a night on this, radio station. And Danny, which is the female main character, she's just got her head in the book. She's trying to get these scholarships. She's trying to go to New York City and be an author, because that's her thing. She loves to write short stories. That's her thing. So he is checking for her hard. He is like infatuated with her. And once she finds out, she's like, I don't really know. And he was like, okay, I'm going to give you 3 dates. Give me 3 dates and I'm going to make you fall in love with me. So of course they go on their 3 dates, and they are the cutest little dates. And like I said, it makes you feel like you're back in high school again. And it is so refreshing to see that, because like if you were in love in high school and you remember like feeling like this, oh my God, I love it. And there's so many references to like, Love and Basketball, Love Jones, Waiting to Exhale, like all of those, like you put you back in that vibe, so I loved it. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend, if you really want something like really cute that doesn't feel crazy YA, this was a good one. All right, so y'all know I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I read this one, 5 stars. Recommend to anybody who is listening. Follows Robbie and Gloria, their siblings, in Florida, I believe. Yeah, Florida. And it's during the Jim Crow South era. Robbie ends up kicking one of like the high profile, not so much high profile, but they're well known, like don't mess with me type of families, a white family. He ends up kicking the son because that son is messing with his sister. So he gets sent, because he's only 12 years old, to a reformatory school for 6 months for his crime. So in this school, there's allegedly ghosts. So it's like a ghost school. So you are following Robbie and his horrible, horrible time at the reformatory school, and you're meeting a ton of ghosts basically, and you're finding out why these ghosts are there. You're finding out like the history of this place. This was an awesome read. When I say I was in it, I was in it. I couldn't put it down. Highly recommend. Honestly, y'all, since it's December, I might say it. This, and maybe like 2 others, this is definitely in the top 2024 books for me. I have never felt like this about a book. Never. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. Watch my previous video if you want more. So, loved it. Then I have Colliding with Fate. I also talked about this in a previous video. A.E. Valdez. This is the 2nd book in the Rise and Fall series. This comes after All I've Wanted, All I've Needed. This follows Kyrell and Quinn. Kyrell had a troubled past, and he is like a player. Like, he wants no strings attached until he meets Quinn. And everything he goes through is like warranted, kind of warranted as to why he's the way he is. He's another no attachment type of person, and he meets her and changes his mind about everything. I really, really like this one. Only thing that I have to say, I really wish I would have heard more of Quinn's side, because it's dual POV, but the majority of this book is from his POV. You get enough from her and like what she goes through with her family, but like I wanted to know Quinn, where I feel like we ended up knowing Kyrell. We know why he does the things he does, what kind of life he had growing up, how his parents are, how they treat him, you know, things like that. But we didn't get a whole lot of that from Quinn. It was sprinkled in. It alluded to kind of how her life was, but I wanted more like depths of her. And we didn't get that. This book definitely follows a lot of grief. So if that is a trigger for you, going with caution. It definitely could take you there if, you know, you've dealt with a lot of things because of the way it's written and the way that the topics that they're talking about. It could make you sad. And I really felt for the characters in this book. So definitely pick this up, and I cannot wait for, I don't know what the 3rd one's called right now. I know it's the 2nd part for Asen and Harlow from the 1st book. I know it's their like sequel. It's a shorter book. Finding My Forever. I don't know. I think I'm making up a name. So let's not make up names, but I cannot wait to go on with this series as well. Then I have Catherine Center, Hello Stranger. I read The Bodyguard by her, and I wanted to read the 2nd book, because you know how sometimes you'll read one book and like, oh, I really loved it, but then like all the rest of the author's books are trash. So I'm like, I'm gonna slowly try to start reading a lot of her books. Her books read like a Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry. So if you like that type of writing, you will love Catherine Center, because where the romance is there, it kind of takes a back seat to the actual issues that are going on with the main characters. So follows Sadie. And it's not a love triangle, but it kind of is. So she is involved with 2 guys, but she has a little incident and she ends up developing face blindness. So she can't see these guys' faces. So she is trying to learn to love and learn to like navigate through her life with this face blindness. And it was a really cute story, but it did deal with some serious topics like the face blindness, and it definitely educates you on what face blindness is. So if you're interested in stuff like that, kind of getting like, because you can say in a book that somebody has a disorder or somebody has, you know, something happened to them, but they don't go in depth. This really goes in depth. Like you can tell the author really did her research about this before she started writing about it. And it was really good, really cute, a cozy read. Like I said, Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry type of flow. You would enjoy this if you like their books. Then I have The Women. Love her, because you know how I feel about the Nightingale, so I have to go through like her catalog. I have 2 more by her, and I just saw another one that I might want to get to. But so this one follows Frankie, who is a nurse during Vietnam wartime. Her brother goes off to war, and she's like, I can make a difference too. I'm going to go to war too. So she ends up going, and it is not what she thought it was going to be. You know, she thought she was going to be like how she was in the hospital, you know, being a nurse. No, she was not ready for the injuries, the deaths, the things. So it's her navigation through the Vietnam War. She ends up meeting two girls that become like her family while she's there. And it's literally her life in Vietnam. So this book is part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is basically everything that's going on in the war. It's very like in Kristen Hanna's way, like she was in The Nightingale or any other book. You can smell it, you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, like you're in the story. It's like you took yourself out of your house, out of the book, and you were on Vietnam battleground. Like you were there. Love it. Love the imagery that she writes in her books. It is just awesome to read something that just takes you out of reality. This is her books. I will say, I can only say because I've only read the one and then now this one, but I have a feeling that this is kind of like how she writes. Her books are, to me, are a true definition of escapism. Like you're not in your room anymore. You're not, you know, at the bus stop anymore. Wherever you read, you're not there anymore. You're wherever she wants you to be. So the second half of the book is her time after she's come home from the war and everything that goes on after that, how they're treated, how Americans were treated when they came back from the war. And it is sad. It's sad to watch. It's sad to read. And it makes you feel bad for those, you know, vets that came home thinking they were serving their country and how they're actually treated by their country. So I liked the first half of this book way better than the second because it was more action. I felt like I was there. The second half of the book is a little bit slower. That's why this one did not get 5 stars, but it was still an awesome book. I will never forget these characters. I will always recommend this book. So loved it. That is my November wrap up, but I do have one thing to say. So my birthday was on the 26th, and I did receive some book mail. I received it from Tina Wonderfully Made. It says, a gift for you. Happy birthday. So blessed to be able to call you friend. Enjoy your day, from Tina. And she got me The Fire Between High and Low from Brittany Cherry. This is the second book in the Element series. First one is The Air He Breathes, and this is the second. Hold on, mama. There once was a boy, and I loved him. Logan and I were complete opposites. I danced and he stood still. He was quiet while I ran my mouth. He struggled to find a smile and I refused to frown. We were broken together yet somehow whole. We were wrong together but always right. We were the stars that burned across the sky searching for a wish, praying for better tomorrows. Until the day I lost him, the day he threw us away with one hasty decision, a decision that changed us forever. There was once a boy and I loved him. And for a few breaths, for a few whispers, a few moments, I think he loved me too. I cannot wait to get into this book. Then I got The Best of Friends by Lucinda Berry. Cannot wait to read another one by her. I'm just going to read a little bit of this one. They were living the dream until it became a nightmare. Best friends Lindsay, Kendra, and Danny endure every parent's nightmare when a tragic accident befalls their teenage boys, leaving one dead, another in a coma, and a third too traumatized to speak. About to be drama with these mamas. I already know. So these are all the books that I read in November, and I cannot wait to see what I'm going to be reading in December. Right now, oh my God, I am reading How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. The book is in my room, but this one right here that everybody's reading right now, y'all. I've read 2 Megan Quinn books in the Meant to Be series. Every book I have cracked up. This one, when I say tears, I have been cracking up at this book for like the last 2 days. I mean, tears to the point like I'm literally reading excerpts to my husband. He's laughing, but he's not laughing at the content of the book. He's laughing because I'm just so tickled. It is the funniest thing. So if y'all need something for Christmas that's got some spice to it, and I finally found out what happened with that candy cane, y'all. Ooh, Jesus. So anyway, check that out if you want to, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.